My curly hair journey started at the very end of 2016, and in the lead up to that I was a couple of years postpartum with my second child, and during my pregnancy with that child my hair had just gone, I can only describe it as weird. It just stopped curling properly and started zigzagging, so it would be straight at the root, zigzaggy in the middle, and then curly-ish at the ends. Hormones can play a huge role in our hair, whether it gets curlier or less curly or just is acting up. A few years down the line, my hair was just not happy. I did also used to straighten it from time to time, and I had a lot of blonde highlights. I actually remember one day thinking, I wonder if there's anything on the internet about caring for curly hair, which is now, looking back on that, absolutely hilarious because of course there's so much. So I started Googling. I came across something called the curly girl method. I joined a few Facebook groups. I learned so much. One thing about me is that when I get on a subject that I'm interested about, I go all in. So I read everything I could in this Facebook group. I decided to give it a try myself, and I vividly remember my very first wash day, like using all new products, quite heavy cream, a gel, an oil, loads of things, and then it didn't work. And I remember posting on the group and saying, what's wrong? Like, why is this not working? And somebody saying to me, well, you've used so many things. It's not possible for us to tell you what's not working because there's so much. I was so grateful to get that piece of advice very early on in my curly journey because that has stuck with me. Simpler is better, especially when you're just starting out. Keep it simple and only change one or two things at a time. That way you can figure out what is and what isn't working. My hair definitely looked worse before it looked better. And it actually took me a good 3 months to get a decent wash day result, which was a really long time, but I was absolutely determined that I was sticking with this. And I do think that that is something that makes a difference. You've got to sort of like make a decision. You were going to stick with it and you were going to figure it out no matter how long it takes. Because if I had been a quitter, I would have given up after a week or two. I never would have learned what I learned, and I would never have this job now, which is just mind-blowing to me. So if you're at that point where you've just started your curly journey and you feel like quitting, please don't. Please stick with it. I know how frustrating it is. I've been there, but it is worth it. I quickly learned that my hair was very fine and didn't like to be weighed down with much in the way of creams or really thick, heavy gels at that time. And I discovered that my hair loved mousse. It was the old Pantene Defined Curls mousse was like an eye-opening moment for me, and that was at the 3-month mark. And I vividly remember just being so excited and posting on the Facebook group pictures of this 3-month wash day. It suddenly clicked. And it was so good. It really just got better from there. I found a routine that worked really well for me. It was that Pantene mousse that I mentioned and the Cantu curl activator, but like a pea-sized amount for my entire hair. And those two products together just worked so well for me. I stuck to that same routine for probably about 18 months without changing it. I used to post quite a lot on the group with tips and wash day results and all of that. Made my very first video specifically for that group, and it was a curly updo. And when I started making these videos for the group, quite a lot of people said you should set up a YouTube channel or you should set up an Instagram page, and I was adamant that I wouldn't. I was so scared to put myself out there like to the general public, because it felt like this group, although it was a large group, I still felt like it was a small corner of the internet which had rules and admin in charge. You know, people were generally really nice and friendly and encouraging, and I was so frightened to put myself out there. Basically, I was scared of trolls. I sort of stumbled across the curly community on Instagram, which I wasn't really aware of before, and I thought, oh, maybe I could just set up a page just to share like the things that I share in this Facebook group. I could just share them in case there's people not on the group who might benefit from it, and that could be fun. So I secretly didn't tell anybody, and I set up a curly page, and I felt so weird about it and self-conscious. It felt like such a strange thing to do, but I bit the bullet and I did it. And I shared the way that I refresh my hair, which was known as the Maurice's Refresh, because, you know, back those days you used to put a hashtag on everything. If you look at that hashtag, you will still find lots of videos of me and other people trying it. People seem to find that this refresh method worked for, you know, quite a lot of people, especially people at the beginning of their journey, and for people who at that time, like me, couldn't use much water when they refreshed, or it would give them lots of frizz. That really took off, and then I decided to start a YouTube channel, and I put that refresh on there and started uploading videos semi-regularly on there too. Once I really joined that sort of Instagram curly community and saw all the products actually that were out there, I did start experimenting more. Also then, a few brands offered to send me products, which was just the most exciting thing ever. I got to try lots of things and then share about them. Somewhere along the road, after having started my Instagram page, I decided that getting my colour done, like my blonde highlights, was just really resetting my progress every single time. And every time I would get my colour done, I would end up in tears because my hair would just be breaking and I would like lose all that curl progress. And I just remember like shaking my hair out, like fluffing it after I'd washed it, and you would see little bits of hair floating to the ground. And I just decided enough was enough. And thanks to seeing lots of people on social media, on Instagram specifically, start to embrace their own natural colour, including their grey hairs, I decided it would be fun to grow my hair out and see what I thought of it and see if I liked it, because I hadn't had my natural colour for 15 years. So I grew my hair all the way out natural. It took me about 20 months and lots of haircuts. That was 2020, and of course then the pandemic hit, and I definitely did a bit of emotional hair cutting in 2020, and my hair ended up really short. I say really short, it wasn't like a pixie or anything, but for me it was short. It turned out I actually love my natural colour way more than any colour job I've ever had in the whole 15 years of dyeing my hair, which is insane and mind-blowing. It's also free. Actually also started cutting my hair like right from the very beginning, right from the start of my journey. I started cutting my hair dry, curl by curl, and that's something else that I shared particularly on YouTube, and a lot of people enjoyed seeing how I cut my own hair, and that's to date my most watched video on YouTube is my DIY curly haircut. I still cut my own hair, but the way I do it evolves and changes depending on kind of look I'm going for. For example, recently I was trying out the butterfly cut, which works really well when my hair was a bit longer, but now I'm wearing my hair a little bit shorter again, and my curl by curl cut works better for that length. And my favorite part of all this is that along the way you guys have joined me for my journey, and the fact that you want to know what I have to say and see what I do with my hair still amazes me, and I'm so grateful to you, because without you there would be no Marisa's Curls, there would be no page. In 2021, I made the switch to going fully into doing my social media as my job, and I have never looked back. It was the best decision. It is the best job I've ever had by a long shot, and it suits me so perfectly. I can work when suits me around my kids, no boring meetings, no corporate jargon, no boss. Also stopped following the curly girl method because I felt that it was actually unnecessarily restrictive, and there was a lot of toxicity from certain people that came along with the method. So I still use certain things that I learned from the curly girl method. Like I still tend to stay away from silicons and sulfates, and I'm still more careful with how I style my hair, and there are so many things that I learned that have stuck with me. However, I do not claim to follow the method anymore. I am exceptionally grateful both to the people who came before me, who put all that information together on the internet for people like us to learn, and also to every single one of you who take the time to comment, message me, follow me, anything at all. I really appreciate you, so thank you for that. Some stuff I discovered along the way about my hair was that it changed dramatically after I stopped colouring it, and what it liked and didn't like changed so much. I learned that my hair just was very easily over conditioned, and also that it really likes protein. I also discovered that I just feel more like myself with my hair in its natural form, curls and colour and all of it. I just feel more me than I ever did before. And one of my concerns with stopping colouring my hair was that I just felt like, oh, being blonde was part of me. It was like part of my identity because I had done it for so long. It still amazes me that I feel more me with my natural hair colour than I ever did in all those years of colouring it. But it shouldn't be a surprise because it's my natural hair colour, so of course I should feel more me. Any questions at all about my journey or any questions about your own curly journey, please do comment below and I will get to as many as I can. I am all ready. Thank you for coming with me on that process and listening to me ramble on.